Hi everyone, welcome to the CZ Armor channel. It's been a while. Today what I'm going to do with you guys is a little bit of cosmetic work with this Shadow2. It's going to be the process of going from this into this. So what I'm going to do here is go step by step with you guys through the process of disassembling, cleaning, degreasing, prepping, sandblasting, coating, curing, and reassembling. But in the essence of time, I'm gonna go a little bit with what food networks do on those cooking shows that they start prepping the food and then they go to the oven and they open up another oven and pull out the food already done in the so that's just so this video won't take hours to be completed, and I'm going to be pointing down to links of videos that I already documented the process I'm going through. For instance, disassembling, cleaning, reassembling, all that kind of stuff. I already posted videos on that, so I'm just going to make a reference to those videos here. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first step is to disassemble it, and as I said, there's a link down below on how to do a complete disassemble on a Shadow2. Now it's completely disassembled, frame and slide. And what I'm doing here is I put everything in the bag so I don't lose any of the parts. I'm going to put that little pin and spring inside the bag as well. And that's a Shadow2 in the bag. I'm going to put everything in the box with the serial number of this shadow identifying it so I don't mix parts because I'm working on two other shadows at the same time. So this all goes in the box. And the next step now, which I'm going to do off camera, is to do a thorough cleanup. Like I need to degrease everything. Heavily use some simple green. I'm not going to use acetone just right now. It's just simple green. Let it soak in simple green. Use a ultrasound cleaner. You clean as much as possible. Then it goes to the oven. It bakes at 300 degrees for about an hour and comes out. And then when it comes out, you can see if there's still oil coming out. You've been impressed how much oil these materials absorb, and they come up with the temperature. So as it comes up, clean up again. Bake again until there's no more oil, zero grease coming out of it. And then we go to the next step, which is sandblasting it. All right, one more step before we go to sandblasting. So this has already been baked a couple times in the oven and cleaned thoroughly, so there's nothing really here. It's ready to go be sandblasted. But I like to do this. See this tape on the rails of the slide? And the same thing on the frame. Don't know if you're going to be able to see in the frame, but there's a tape here on each side protecting the rails. This is, I mean, you don't have to do it. Most people that I've seen Cerakoting these guns, they just sandblast the whole thing, Cerakote the whole thing. But then you might have a problem, and I've had to work on Shadow2s that came to me with this problem. Just the slide and frame feet the tolerances get changed because of the coat. So either at that point, if you coated the whole thing, you might need to refeed the slide to the frame, or otherwise the gun won't work reliably anymore. It might have malfunctions. It might not even able to cycle the slide in the frame because it will be very tight. So you either have to refeed that, or you do this extra step on the prepping, which is just protect the rails. These are polished by factories, these rails, so honestly, you should protect them. You should not sandblast and coat them, or if you do it, at least you should repolish the rails to the original state. So we can go sandblast now. Okay, I finally finished sandblasting it. So that's what it looks like. Bare metal CZ Shadow2 optics ready. Um, no signs of the original coat on it. So that's what you want. You want to take it all out. Cerakote doesn't like to adhere. It adheres better to bare metal with some sandblasting. Makes Cerakote adhere much better. So now what I'm going to do is I'll take that sticker off that was protecting the rails, and I'm going to go to the oven, do one more burnout. The reason I'm going to do one more burnout before I soak this whole thing in acetone once again is if there is any oil still coming out of it, it's much better to see now, much easier to see now that is bare metal, because it's going to look like drops. You're going to see like a smooth surface, consistent surface like this, and then there's some drops on it, some little droplets that show up surface from the oil coming out with the high temperature of the oven. So I'm going to do one more time, one more burnout, and after this we're going to go Cerakote. Okay, and then it goes to the last burnout. This is the oven set to 300. It's heating up. It's 220 right now, 58 minutes. I'm going to restart to 60. So it's about 55 minutes to an hour at 300. Open up, see the frame in the slide is there. And we'll see if there is no more oil, nothing, no grease. See if the material is completely greased, completely clean. And then it goes to one more bath in acetone. And now we're ready to Cerakote. Okay, after looking at the chocolate chip camo and the way he sent me a picture, that's gonna be the final selection. I'm gonna go with Barrett brown. Well, the chocolate chip's gonna be white. This is Stormtrooper white. It happens to be the only white that I have here. That should work. And then the graphite black to do around the white and make the chocolate chips. And then I'm gonna have a base of desert sand, and then do the camo with these different ones. What's the first one? Barrett brown and Multicam dark brown. That's gonna be it.
I'm gonna do some voiceover now, and you can see the first thing I'm going to do there is the white coat. So doing Stormtrooper white on top of the framing slide on only in the locations that I really want those chocolate chips to go in. So I'm not gonna cover the whole gun. The idea is like if I need to cover the whole gun for every layer, it's gonna be a lot of Cerakote on top. So I just want to put the minimum amount just where I'm gonna have those chips. Then it goes to the oven. It gets flash cured, and I put some stencils. You see there's some yellow dots. Those yellow dots is basically where the chocolate chips are going to be, and yellow is the color of the stencil. So now I'm gonna cover it with black, and that's gonna make that surrounding of the white dots with that black shade on them, and that's what I'm doing here. Again, not covering. I'm doing a little bit more on the black, painting inside the slide, coating inside the slide, inside the frame. Eventually, I want to make sure that I'm not going to miss any of those spots and leave it in bare metal. So that's why I'm doing black is a good color to be if I miss them at the end. So that's why I did that. And you can see the details there a little bit better on the frame as well. So it goes to the oven. I do another flash cure, wait until it cools down, comes out, and put some stencils again. Those are the stencils that will create those shade, protect the black, and then I cover everything again with a new coat of Cerakote. And this time it's going to be the Multicam brown that's going to be on top of it. That's going to create that first layer of the camouflage at the end. Then it's basically rinse and repeat. It goes to the oven, flash cure, comes out, new set of stencils, and then another layer of the camouflage. And now I'm coating with desert sand. That's the color, the kind of the lightest color you see in the camouflage there. And I didn't mention this, but the flash cure is done at 180 degrees for about 12 to 15 minutes is what a Shadow2 framing slide will take to flash cure. You can't let it stay for too long, or we will do a final cure, and Cerakote does not adhere on Cerakote when it's final cured. And you cannot let it, I mean, it needs to stay for long enough so it's kind of dry to touch, and you can do what I'm doing here. Otherwise, you put the stencils, and when you take the stencils out, it will peel the paint as well, the coat as well. Now it's same process again. Comes out of the oven after a flash cure. New set of stencils for the last layer of camouflage, and that now is the color I'm using. Last is a Barrett brown. Though now I'm gonna cover basically the whole gun again. In the beginning, when I covered the inside of the slide and frame in black, that was exactly so. I don't need to go and do the Barrett brown now on top of those areas because I'm not putting any chocolate chip inside the gun and internal. So once I finish, this goes to the oven to a final cure. That's going to be there for about 2 hours at 200, 250 degrees. That's what Cerakote recommends. I put a little bit above that just to make sure. So I put about 270, 275 and stay there for 2 hours, and then we'll be ready to start peeling off all the stencils and see the result. Now comes what for me is the best part, my favorite part, which is taking all the stencils out, all the protective tapes from the slide rails and the frame rails that take all that thing out and start showing up, slowly revealing all the camouflage, all the layers being taken out and showing finally as a one single piece. This was 5 colors: Stormtrooper white, graphite black, multicam brown, Barrett brown, and desert sand. So yeah, just keep taking the stencils out, and you can see the first chocolate chips showing up there. Look good. It looks good, and until all the stencils are out. Last, I put this slide and frame together, make sure that the slide is moving freely. It's still catching a little bit, so a little bit of moving, cycling back and forth is going to remove any residue coating that is preventing it to. So after this is just put everything together, and this is what the final product looks like. So what do you think? Let me know what you think on your comments, and thank you for watching, and until the next video.